WTF, what the fox? This morning's report on the faux news network, well, it started out the day and should have stunned every American. Now, we're going to go right into the belly of the beast right now to try to clear all of this up, find out what's behind today's breaking story that started with the closure of airspace over El Paso in Texas. Now, welcome to Occupy Democrats, and please hit that subscribe button if you think at least this plane should always be allowed to fly. Trademark. So the FAA on short notice last night issued a very suspicious closure over very important airspace. But in our breaking story, well, that just changed moments ago. Now, here's how the morning kicked off. On the other side of this, we'll have a breaking update about the confusion that the FAA is generating that's sending us all into some kind of a tailspin.
Overnight, the FAA shutting all airspace over El Paso, Texas for the next 10 days for unspecified security reasons, warning any planes violating can be shot down. Closing airspace over a major U.S. city for this reason is very rare and has not happened since after 9/11. Pilot and aviation expert Kyle Bailey is a former member of the FAA safety team, and he joins us now. Good morning to you, Kyle.
Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. What do you think this means? FAA is saying special security reasons, but they're not elaborating.
The interesting thing is this is in the vicinity of Fort Bliss and also the Biggs Field, which are both military installations. And the duration, we're talking 10 days. Normally, TFRs, temporary flight restrictions, could be hours, could be a day, could be 2 days if it's for VIPs. But it's unprecedented for a 10-day temporary flight restriction from the surface up to 18,000 feet and a 10-mile radius. If it was like a spaceship launch or something like that, or something going up to space, that would be unlimited. But there's a cap at 18. But 18,000 feet itself is very, very high for a temporary flight restriction. So it's definitely something big, like a national security event, a very high-level VIP. But the interesting thing is that on the Mexican side of the border, there's no flight restriction. So that would lead me to believe that whatever is happening is not in conjunction with the Mexican government.
Interesting.
Because if it was that airspace on the other side, probably the Mexican government probably would issue some kind of warning or restriction. We don't see that.
Very
but I think it's safe to say it's something very big, either from a national security standpoint or perhaps testing something, equipment or something going into the air around the vicinity of those bases.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking up what happens at Fort Bliss, major U.S. Army installation, home of 1st Armored Division, premier training site for desert warfare and armored units. It supports 90,000 soldiers. So I instantly think security reasons, special security reasons, that there's been a threat to Fort Bliss. And that might actually make more sense when you're saying that the airspace over Mexico has not been shut down. But could it be? Well, could it be staffing shortages of the air traffic control? However, if you read the statement from the FAA, they say the FAA on short notice issued a temporary flight restriction halting all flights to and from El Paso and our neighboring community, Santa Teresa, New Mexico. The restriction prohibits all aircraft operations, including commercial, cargo, and general aviation, until February 20th.
I doubt it's air traffic control. If that was the issue, they would move somebody from another facility anywhere in the country. That's not really very busy airspace. It's not like New York or Philadelphia or Los Angeles. It could very easily be staffed. So I do not think it's air traffic control, but it's definitely something very big happening. Okay. Either that or testing something that's going into the air, I would suspect.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kyle.
In our featured story, the federal government has done a 180 in about around 18 hours. Now, let's go back to state-sponsored Trump TV. The faux news network has followed up on its great reporting this morning. Please check this out. You tell me what it means.
Okay, back on that story now, where the FAA has reopened the airspace around the airport, El Paso, Texas, only moments ago. Flights were announced to be grounded last night for, quote, special security reasons. That closure was supposed to last 10 days. Never heard of that before. That could have been very problematic for folks trying to leave the area. It's a 6-hour drive to Phoenix, 7 to San Antonio, 9 to Dallas, 10 to Houston. Jeff Paul is live in L.A. to bring us what's happening on this now. Jeff, strange stuff here. What you learn? Hello.
Well, yeah, very strange, because just 30 minutes ago, everyone was preparing for a 10-day airport shutdown in El Paso, and now it appears, according to the FAA, that ground stop at the El Paso airport has been lifted. Now, the FAA hasn't put out too much information as to why the airspace was going to close, other than a post on the FAA website indicating it was for special security reasons. But now the FAA says there is no threat to commercial aviation. All flights will resume as normal. Now, according to Reuters, airline sources told them the grounding of flights was believed to be tied to the Pentagon's use of counter-drone technology to address Mexican drug cartels' use of drones at the U.S.-Mexico border. The airport, though, we should mention, is positioned directly next to military base Fort Bliss and Biggs Army Airfield. And it's worth pointing out, this airport serves the nation's 23rd largest city, so it could have created massive disruptions and likely still will, just given the nature of this shutdown. Now, passengers in El Paso who were informed were left stunned at the time when they were told.
I didn't get any notifications from the airline. I just kind of saw all the cops here and the news cameras, and now, if it's closed for 10 days, we can't get out.
This is a shocker. It really is. Complete shock. To close the airport down for 10 days, that's incredible. I've never experienced anything. I don't think I've ever read of any airport in the United States and the world that's been shut down for 10 days, other than war.
Now, Texas Democratic Congresswoman Veronica Escobar, who serves El Paso, called the ground stop highly consequential. She wrote on X that from what her office had gathered, there's no immediate threat to the community or surrounding areas, and that no advance notice was given to her office or the city. While the ground stop has been lifted, we still don't know what led to that order to shut down the airport for some 10 days. Fox has reached out to multiple government agencies, Bill, for clarity. We're waiting to hear back.
Okay, indeed. Maybe we'll get Sean Duffy on to explain this, and we'll wait for that if that happens. Thanks, sir. Jeff Paul in L.A. on that story.
Okay, on the diametrically opposite side of the spectrum, my dog Jagger and I remind you that the Walk for Peace culminates today, and everyone is invited to take part all over the world between 4:30 and 7:30 EST, a mass meditation. Juxtaposed against the horrors of the world, why not participate? It happens this afternoon. Check out their Facebook live stream page at Walk for Peace. In the meantime, please like, share, and by all means, go in peace. Hey, Jagger, it's your friend.